for episode 2, which will be the story of the leg rapist, which, that's a good nickname, but he deserved it. Probably still definitely deserves it. So, I went with a friend to her friend's birthday party, which was at a club, and there were 8 girls, including my friend and the birthday girl, and then 1 guy, and myself. So, the guy I originally thought was gay. He had, huge diamond stud in his ear. He was wearing, this button-down white shirt with pastel stripes and, a pink tie, and he kept giving advice on drinks and everything to the birthday girl. He just seemed legitimately like he was the gay protector of the group. That's just really who I thought he was. This was, of course, until later in the evening when the song, You Know You Want Me, I believe is what it's called, by Pitbull, got mixed with an Enrique Iglesias song that I think has the same name, and he decided that it was time to dance with me because he was sufficiently drunk. And this dancing was mostly him raping my leg, which is how he got his nickname. So he was gyrating all over my thigh, and he was grabbing my butt, and I think he might have tried to kiss my neck, but I'm still not sure because he could have just been sweaty and resting his chin on my neck. If he wasn't so nice, I would have, gotten upset about the way that he was handling me, but he was clearly drunk, and he seemed like he was nice enough and just friends with everybody, so I didn't want to cause a scene, and we just danced, and that was pretty much all until a few days later. My friend got tagged in a photo that he had taken on Facebook, and I was also in the picture, so I requested a tag in there, and then he started messaging me, and, how'd you meet so-and-so, and blah, 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 all that standard talking you up, getting to know you kind of thing. And we got to the exchanging phone numbers part, and he called me and talked to me for hours on the phone, and just texted me all the time, and we finally decided to go out for dinner, but because I told him I had never gone on a second date before, because I just always said no to a second date, he wanted to call going out to dinner not a date, so that he wouldn't get turned down after that first dinner. So we went out to dinner, got sushi, and I drank this ginormous fishbowl cocktail that he had ordered for us to share because he had to drive, and I'm cheap as hell, so he knew I had to finish it, because you can't let that go to waste, right? So I got pretty buzzed, and he was pretty impressed with my ability to drink gigantic cocktails, and we got back to my house, and he took a bouquet of flowers out of the back of his car that he had there for me the whole evening, which is a little odd. Normally you give the girl flowers at the beginning of the evening so they don't die, but that's cool, he had his own style, I guess. So then we walked around my neighborhood and talked, and, he answered a phone call without really excusing himself, and he seemed okay, but a little full of himself. I did think it was, super endearing that he stuttered, though. You could tell he was nervous because he would start stuttering when he was saying certain things. So that pretty much summed up the evening, and he texted me as he was driving away that, he wanted to do that again, and this time he wanted to be clear that he wanted it to be a real date this time, and I agreed because I had already told him I'd never said no when somebody had the courage to ask me before, so that would be kind of crappy not to give him a chance just because he rudely answered the phone. So, a week later or so, we ended up going out for dinner again, and sometimes he would stop talking and I would stop talking, and since I'm not great with silence, I ended up singing along to the cover band that was playing, which he apparently thought was very charming, and from all the stories that he told, I realized we actually had a lot in common, and I really started to like him. So we continued that whole, going out to eat, talking on the phone all the time, texting all the time. I don't know, just starting to date each other. And he actually met me right around the time I was still hanging out with the cheesecake guy. So the first night I let him spend the night with him promising nothing would happen because he said he understood that I hadn't kissed anyone before ever and that I didn't want to have sex until after I got married. And even though he was not of a similar experience level, he said that he would respect that. And we'd fallen asleep on the couch together before while watching TV, so I didn't really think there was any harm in letting him spend the night. So after that first night that he stayed the night, it was actually the morning that I went to Niagara Falls with Cheesecake Guy, which the Rapist was not very pleased with because he thought that this guy was going to woo me with money or romantic location or something like that. But that didn't happen because he's a horrible storyteller, and you already know that story. And he also made fun of me because I sleep with my arms across my chest like this at night all the time, and he thought, since we were spooning basically, that I was protecting my boobs because I thought he was going to grab them or something, which I did not think he would do, but he did not try that. He just made fun of me a lot because that's what he thought I was trying to do, is protect them. So we proceeded to talk and all that stuff, and he spent the night another time, and that's when I was really an idiot, because in the morning when we woke up, I got up, brushed my teeth, and sat down on the bed, put my sweatshirt on because it's cold in the house, so if I'm not under the covers it gets cold. And he woke up because I sat back down, and he said he planned on staying in bed for a while, so I was like, alright, if you're gonna stay there, I'll cuddle with you, and climb back in with him. And then he was like, wait, if you brushed your teeth, I'll brush my teeth, which is when I should have known that bad things were going to happen. But I was young and naive, so I didn't know. And he went and brushed his teeth, and then he came back, and we were cuddling, and I was rubbing his stomach because I had no idea that was an invitation for sex. I just knew when I was little that I liked to have my belly rubbed, so I rubbed his belly. And it started to get warm because I had put that sweatshirt on already, so when I lifted the covers to take my sweatshirt off, I saw that someone had become excited, and I didn't really know what to do about that. Since I had no intention of addressing his issue, I just kind of pretended like nothing had happened, and I didn't say anything. I just kept rubbing his stomach, which was a stupid idea, by the way. So then, after a little while, he, I guess, got overcome with passion and decided that it was a good idea to kiss me. And he did this by shoving his tongue so forcefully in my mouth that my jaw cracked open, audibly cracked. And I didn't know what I was doing because this is the first time I've ever been kissed before, so I was trying to figure out how to kiss back and what to do, and he's all rubbing my back and stuff like that, and all of a sudden his hands dive down the back of my pants. And I, of course, said what all normal people would say, which is, whoa, while grabbing his hands and pulling them out of my pants, because his hands shouldn't have been in my pants. So then he continued kissing me for a little while, but I think he realized that it was awkward and a little too much for me, so he stopped and gave me a hug goodbye and left. And later that night called and said all this stuff about how he thought he could handle a non-physical relationship, but it turns out that with me that's not possible, because yay for me, he's really excited around me, even though with other girls he can cuddle and stuff like that, and that doesn't happen. So yay, I'm a seductress without trying. But anyway, he told me all that stuff, and I said that was fine, because if he didn't want to date me, then that's, cut your losses early on, that's better. But I was a little pissed, because I was 23 years old, I waited 23 years for my first kiss, and he made it a horrible experience. And not only was it an awkward first kiss, it was the first kiss that you don't even get to keep the guy after. So that's kind of bullshit, So after a week of stewing about this, not getting to really feel like I experienced my own first kiss because I didn't know what I was doing, I texted him and asked him to come over to kiss me for real, like no strings attached. I just wanted to kiss him to like figure out how, and basically just to feel like I had actually participated in my first kiss. So he, of course, jumped at the chance and, came over, we chatted for a while, and then I finally got him to kiss me, and we made out for a while, and he kept trying to, like, get up and leave. But after he would get one step closer to leaving, he would start making out with me again. And finally he got to the point where he had his coat on and everything, and then he started making out with me again, like with his back up against my closet. And then he told me that if we kept kissing, he was going to have to get off, essentially. And I told him, well, that's fine, as long as you don't expect me to, do anything. And he decided, yeah, I'll keep kissing you and take care of myself, which is awkward, right? So I gave him an old sock to take care of himself in so that it didn't get all over the place. And if that's not like awkward enough that he's, getting himself off while we're kissing, he also received a phone call from his father, which he answered while taking care of himself. So I backed away to let him carry on with his phone call, I'll be home soon, yada yada yada. And then as soon as he hung up the phone, he started kissing me again and, finished, and voila, magical guy thing. So then he left and started contacting me a bunch because he didn't realize that I had so much lust, or, that I wanted the kissing and things like that, and that I just didn't plan on taking it as far as he might want. So he kept asking to come over and hang out and stuff. So we would go to dinner, and then he would come over, and then we would make out, and he would take care of himself. And I started to realize in talking to him that that's pretty much all he wanted at that point, since he had just gotten out of a serious relationship and he wasn't going to jump into another one. And I realized that that's not really what I wanted, and that I needed to end it because it had gotten kind of more serious, and I'd started to feel bad about it because by that point I wasn't making him take care of himself anymore, and he was taking care of me in certain ways, if you know what I mean. And I just started to feel really bad about it, so I told him, unless you want to date me, you have to just go ahead and let me go because I can't do this anymore. And he said, I'm not really sure that I want a relationship right now, so do what you gotta do. And I was like, alright, great. And I made an OkCupid profile and went on a string of dates, and he continued contacting me because obviously he still wanted the benefits, but I pretty much held him off because I knew that wasn't what I needed. So I'm gonna stop that story there because there's a lot more to the leg rapist. He's actually the only real relationship I've been in, and that definitely doesn't constitute a real relationship, so there's more to come with him. But this video is getting a little too long to tell the stories of all of the OkCupid guys, and they probably deserve their own video. So I'm gonna leave you there, and hopefully you enjoyed listening, and I will talk to you soon.